Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Thursday, September 19th. And bing, 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 bing. Big news. The Federal Reserve cut interest rates. It was the first cut in 4.5 years, and it was 0.5 percentage point. And I know that there were sort of like mixed odds, sort of 50-50, about 25 or 50 basis points. But here's what the Federal Reserve said. We're going meeting by meeting. We're data dependent. We are recalibrating, meaning that the Fed's got two big jobs, right? Number one is to control prices, inflation or deflation if that occurs in a recession. And the other part is to make sure the economy is growing at a quick enough pace to actually create jobs. And now the Fed's basically said, we think we've kind of kicked inflation's tush. So it's time to make sure that the labor market does not fall apart. So they started with a 50 basis point cut. According to the Federal Reserve's own projections, we're going to likely get another 0.5 percentage point by the end of this year, another 2 full percentage points after that by the end of 2026. So we'll see. Those are projections. In the press conference, what Jerome Powell said was they've got confidence that inflation is coming down towards their target. And although the labor market is in what he called a solid place, it is slowing down. So first rate cut, very exciting. This may actually lead you to ask yourselves a lot of different questions about things going on in your life. Are you thinking about buying a home? Are you looking at buying a new car? Maybe those interest rates will come down. I know that so many of you are big savers. What does that mean? It means that you're not going to get those juicy CD rates forever, and they are going to start to come down. But this is the beginning point in a process. It is not the end, and it's going to take a while. So we'll have to see where they go next. But if you do have a question about how these interest rates are impacting you and what's going on in your life, give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and don't forget to check the box if you'd like to join us on the air live. Today, we're going to do some emails. Let's start with Victor, who writes, "This is a wonderful program. I'm a new listener. For the last year, my wife and I have been discussing retirement more and more. I will be 54 in November. My wife is 49. We want to retire when I turn 59 or sooner if possible. Our goal for retirement would be to move to Spain. That's where my family is from. That way we could be close to my parents as they go through their later years." That sounds kind of cool. All right, Victor goes on to write, "We envision living the rest of our lives there. However, we want to make sure we have enough money to live comfortably and travel, and we want to be able to see our kids whenever we would like." All right, so we've got 3 kids. The youngest is a junior in college. 2 other daughters are married and supporting themselves. Oh, bravo to you, Victor. Okay, together, my wife and I make approximately $275,000 and we contribute 15% to a traditional 401k. Okay, the combined 401k values $1.2 million. Only about $45,000 is Roth. We have a brokerage account with about $33,000, ETFs and mutual funds. We also have $100,000 in a high yield savings account. $600 a month is the number we commit to our brokerage account. And listen to this, we add $2,265 a month to our savings every month. Wow. Okay, the home is worth $345,000. They plan to sell that at retirement and buy a home for, let's say about 250. Is that the right number? Yes, 250,000 in Spain. They have no debt. So this is a real downsize. It's pretty amazing, although it's going to cost a lot to move to Spain. Okay. Current monthly expenses, around $11,000 a month. I believe we can easily get that down to $7,500 a month in Spain. I'm planning to take Social Security at 67, and I believe that it's about, let's call it $3,900 a month. My wife would start at 62, $2,369. Okay, here come the questions. Because we plan to move to Spain, anything in particular I should be looking for when looking at retirement planning? Do I need a person? Should I get someone now? Should I wait until retirement? Are we putting away money in the right places, correct amounts? I'm diabetic and 5 years older than my wife. So right now my concern is dying before my wife and the uncertainty that she would be okay financially. We do not have life insurance. Thanks for your time. Keep up the great work, Victor. Okay, let's go to the big picture, which is, do you need someone to help you with retirement planning? I don't know. I feel like there are a lot of moving pieces in this plan, so I would probably look for somebody. And I would look for somebody who is a fiduciary, somebody who has to put your interest before their interest. The thing that's interesting about your situation is you don't have a lot of money to manage. I think you're the perfect kind of client to pay somebody either for hourly advice or for a plan, like an isolated project. And, when you look ahead at what happens when you move to Spain, I think having a couple of different scenarios built out would be very helpful to you. Now, are you putting away the right amounts of money? Look, we're getting close to the end, right? You only have 5 years to go. I think that I might be interested in seeing if we could switch some of your money to Roth money. I know that you hate that idea because you make $275,000 a year and you're going to tell me you're in a high tax state and all that, but you have a lot of money that has been put away pre-tax already. So I don't know. I'm thinking that I might hedge my bet and start to put some money away into the Roth. Even if you could just split it, that would be great. I would go over that savings plan, maybe try to shift some of your money into that. You said you have savings, you have a bunch of money in high yield savings. I think maybe it all goes to brokerage right now. You're putting away, it looks like almost $3,000 a month. I don't know how much more you're going to need than that high yield savings account, because you're going to sell your house. You're going to have some, you're not going to have to pay any tax that's due. And you're going to have a little bit of extra money to pop into that high yield savings account for the move. So I do think a planner, yes. I think putting away the money in the right places, I might shift to the Roth. I know that you don't have life insurance. Can you buy life insurance through work? That might be something that you would do. Maybe you buy more life insurance through work and make sure it's portable. Maybe you could take it with you. I would also be very careful about estate planning. If you are not going to be living in the United States, you should be working with someone on your documents to make sure you have the coverage you need. I don't know if you're a dual passport holder or what, but anyway, those are the things that come to my mind. Did I miss anything, Mark? I don't think so. I think that's about right.
Yeah, I'd have to dig into it, but it's no slam dunk.
No.
I know, they're spending $11,000 now. He says they're gonna go down to $7,500.
It's hard to.
That has to happen,
and it's also hard to see how that does happen. But he seems quite sure because of Spain.
Yeah, he knows it.
Yeah, but I don't know. You're very locked into 59. Obviously, the longer you work, the better the numbers get. So it's close. That's what we can say. And maybe it'll be even better. Maybe the numbers look even better if you were to actually consider that your house sells for more. Like if your house is worth $350 and, he said they're going to buy a home in the $200 to $250 range. Well, if your house sells for closer to $400 and you're buying a home for $200, obviously these things do make a difference, right? Could you do any kind of work over there? Any part-time work? 59's young, man. I don't know, Mark. I'm really out. I am outside of the mainstream when it comes to these things, because here we have another question from Ron about early retirement. And he writes, he's 55 years old. He's single. Well, of course, that always makes a big difference, right? Single, only one person to worry about. Now, Ron says, I want to retire as soon as possible. Oh my gosh. Here we go. A $450,000 house. He owes $260,000. His monthly mortgage, I think it's just obviously principal and interest, $1,650 a month. He gets a full pension at age 58 of $3,800 a month. Okay. $3,800 is the pension at age 58. So we got 3 years before them. I've got a $457,000. It's worth $500,000, a brokerage account of $50,000. No IRA, no Roth IRA. My question for you is, would $8,000 a month in income be feasible if I retire overseas to Mexico or Thailand? Here's a second one. I don't know.
No way.
There's no way that this works in this fashion. First of all, staying here in the United States, you have a very affordable mortgage, right? If you keep working until you're 58, you keep putting money away, then you keep, your pension is coming, and then eventually you're going to be getting Social Security. But you don't have that much money. $8,000 a month is like real money to be spending. And I don't know. I'd love to have this guy on the air. What's going on here? What, you know what I mean? That seems like a lot.
He'll get $8,000 when he's 67, but it's not happening until then.
Yeah. It's a long way from 54 to 67, right? It's just these numbers, guys. Early retirement is very expensive. So you better have a bunch of money saved. Let's see if our next ones do. This is from Elena, who is writing about disability insurance. Here's what Elena says. She says, my husband, or Elena, I don't know which way, but let's say either way. My husband and I are in our mid-40s. We've got 2 kids. Check out this combined income. $550,000 to $600,000. $200 for her. She's working part-time. $400 for him. He works full-time. They've got $1.3 million in their 401ks. They recently started using a Roth. $450 in Roth IRAs, $850 in a taxable brokerage account, $150 in a high yield savings account and CDs, $10,000 in HSA. Kids 529s, Mark, each kid has $190,000 plus $10,000 each in UTMA accounts. House is worth $1.2 million. They only have $280,000 left, 12 years to go. Then the interest rate is 2.375. They've got term life insurance of $1.5 million for the husband, $1.5 million for her. Estate documents are in order. Okay, so they spend an average of $14,000 a month. So they already have a bunch of money saved for retirement and college. She says, so should disability, I feel that our disability mostly just needs to cover our living expenses through age 65. And it's not a big priority to have our disability income fund our retirement. Disability doesn't fund retirement, as you know. Disability is just to pay your bills until you get to age 65. So, at 65, combined Social Security, $6,500 a month. So she would need to she wants to know if, God forbid, something were to happen to her or to him, could they just spend down their retirement assets, wait until 65, 7 to draw their Social Security? He has own OC disability insurance that pays $12,500 until age 70. That's amazing. Okay, wait. His disability costs $210 a month. That has to stay in place. That should stay in place. Okay, $210 a month is nothing. Hers is $130 a month, would pay $6,500, but only for 5 years. She says, per my Social Security statement, if I became disabled enough to qualify for SSDI, monthly income would be about $3,400. By the way, it's very hard to qualify for SSDI. So we're not talking about SSDI. She says, if I became disabled, my husband's income would cover our expenses, even without the private disability. If he became disabled, we could cover our expenses with her income. In other words, what's the likelihood that both of them would become disabled at the exact same time? So, question, you ready? Should I cancel my disability insurance now? That's number one. How will we know when our savings have reached a point where we can cancel my husband's disability? And then, do you think we need long-term care insurance? The insurance salesperson suggested we should start thinking about it, but I'm skeptical. Okay, Mark, you ready? Should she cancel her disability insurance? Her disability insurance costs only $130 per month, and it would cover her for 5 years only.
No.
No, don't cancel it.
No, these are very low premiums, so given their income.
Okay. Number 2, should husband cancel his? No, absolutely not. How do we know when our savings have reached a point where I could cancel my husband's disability? Well, look, run your retirement numbers. Here's what you're going to do, Elena. You're going to say, okay, they spend $14,000 a month, right? So so really what this is a question about is, when do you reach your retirement goals and objectives? So what I would say is you should run your retirement numbers. You spend a lot of money, $14,000 a month. You do have a lot saved. There's no doubt about it. But it's not tons. It's a good chunk of money, right? 1.3, let's see.
It's almost 3 million.
3 million. I did. Okay. So it's $3 million, $3 million to generate $14,000 a month.
And they're only in their mid-40s, though. So this money's going to grow.
Exactly right. I'm sort of thinking like something, at least to the extent that you would be able to do it like, hey, put this in place, keep it in place for a few years. But I think by the time they're 50, we could reevaluate. What do you think about that, Mark? I keep it in my 40s and I say at 50, let's reevaluate.
Yeah, they're probably like 45-ish. I would look at this every 5 years.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. I like that.
And she's asking, do they need long-term care? No.
No, I don't think long-term care is necessary for you guys. That's the interesting thing. That I don't think is necessary. Okay. I think this is the last one. This is from Keith, who says, I'm a truck driver. I'm 47 years old. I was listening to you on the radio. So here I am. Laugh out loud. Hey, thanks, Keith, man. All right. wondering, can I max out my employer's Roth 401k and regular 401k and then also max out my Roth IRA? Okay. For the 401k, no. It is a combination of those two accounts, which would be the $23,000. Now, you are allowed to open up an extra Roth contribution, Mark, aren't you, if you are under a certain limitation for earnings? Isn't that right?
Yeah, I don't know what he earns, but assuming he's eligible, he can max out his workplace $23,000 and then contribute another $7,000 into a Roth IRA.
But we don't know how much you earned. So that's what we need to find out from you. Okay. So, but yeah, you could. And I love that you listen to us on the radio. So this is good. This is very good. Okay. And I think that's it, Mark. It's a very, very exciting and interesting day. I really do want to talk to you guys more about, especially if you're writing in about retirement or early retirement. Oftentimes we have so many interesting follow-up questions. So it is really so much better, I think, if you are able to join us on the air live. But that's up to you. We'll still do our best, and you can always write in afterwards. Okay? All right, then. Well, this has been a wonderful program, and we so appreciate it. If you'd like to come on the air with us, go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and let us know if you want to join us on the air live by checking the box. Don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter. It comes out every single Friday. Mark does a great job with that. You can subscribe to us on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Please leave a rating and review wherever you listen. And of course, put your hands metaphorically on someone's back. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.